Alright, so here we are with a bit of a different video. First of all, disclaimer for this first match. This is my first ever game with Jackie. This might be my second. So I have no idea what I'm doing, right? So just stay tuned, right? Because it's not about my gameplay here. I just want to talk about the game a little bit. Yeah, just there's going to be more matches, right? This is just the first set, and then I'm going to explain some gameplay mechanics for those that don't know, and then I'm going to have another set that is a little more entertaining. I don't know any combos during this set right here, but for the other set I know a few. And yeah, I just want to talk about the this game. I want to talk about this game. So this, I feel like this is a very underrated game, and you know, it's kind of crazy because yeah, this game, like, without Virtua Fighter, there would be no Tekken at all, right? This was the first 3D fighter. So, it feels weird to say this game is underrated, but then again, there hasn't been a new Virtua Fighter game in, like, I don't know, like 12 years or something. And this game, this is my first Virtua Fighter. I played Virtua Fighter 2, right? I am familiar with that game, but I didn't learn it. I just played it, mashed some buttons, you know. And I never learned this game either, and I'm going to explain why in a second. Yeah, but also I do want to say I am going to be learning this game, and yeah, I'll be making videos on it, so stay tuned for that. But I just want a little introduction for people like me who don't really know that much about this game. So, this is a remaster of a game that came out in the mid-2000s, so yeah, it looks pretty good. Obviously, it's not incredible looking, and if you listen to the audio, you will hear that the audio is very old and crunchy, and that's why. It's a very old game. Almost a 20-year-old game, I believe. And then there was a PS3 version of the game that added more stuff. And then, like, 11 years later or something, 10 years later, the PS4 version of the game came out, which is this. It is remastered using the same stuff they use for the Yakuza games. It's just like, you could think of it as like one of those remasters. And yes, it is made by the same people, Sega, for the most part, I believe. And if you don't know, in the Yakuza games, you can actually play Virtua Fighter. I believe Virtua Fighter 4? Which, now that I think about it, you might actually be able to play Virtua Fighter 5, actually, in those games. But the non-online PS3 version, I think. But yeah, not many people, a lot of people think this game is kind of just like a 3D fighter, but they don't realize that there's some actually really sick mechanics in this game that separate it from 3D fighters. Which I will get to explaining in a minute. But yeah, it's a sick game. There's some cool characters, and if you don't know, this game was free, actually, when it came out. It was free on PlayStation Plus. Not anymore. It was only free for about 2 or 3 months. However, lucky you, the game is $20, and it's normally on sale for $10. It's super cheap. But I do want to say that it has really suspicious netcode. It's delay-based netcode, but it's not that bad, but it's still bad. Alright, now I want to explain some gameplay mechanics. Look at that. There's wall grabs in this game, so you can actually use the wall to grab your opponent. Every character in the game has a few of those. And then here's the dodging. See, this is a normal dodge. Then this is a dodge if you press all 3 attack buttons during it. This is a perfect dodge. You can tell by the white smoke at my feet that I'm perfectly dodging his attack. And then I'm adding the big dodge when I press all 3 attack buttons during the perfect dodge to get an even bigger dodge. It's sick. Really sick. So the dodge in this game works like the third strike parry, where if you time it to their attack, you'll get a special dodge, and in some cases, I believe you'll even be able to punish the opponent. But if not, you'll always have better positioning on them. Because like there are some times where you can literally get up behind them, which you will see in my gameplay footage that's coming up after this. But yeah, I just wanted to show you some little gameplay mechanics here. You know, with the wall grabs, they're cool. There's also wall combos in this game. And what I mean by that is if you get hit, your back can smash up against the wall, and if it does, by the way, see there's some dodges right there where I actually ended up behind him. But if your back smashes against the wall, you will actually get stunned, kind of like a Street Fighter or a Guilty Gear stun, and you have to mash out of it. And if you don't, that's a full combo. So even the walls work different than Tekken. There's a state like that in Tekken where you can get smashed up against the wall and you kind of like have to recover out of it. But I don't think it's too common. It's pretty common in this game, except what you see here. This is not an infinite stage. In Tekken, a stage like this, a stage with no walls would be an infinite stage. Not in this game. See, you can actually get wrung out in this game. So, is that the proper term? Wrung out? You can fall out of the ring and you lose the round. So there are 3 different types of walls. There are no walls like this. There are half walls where you can you can still fall out of the stage, but you have to physically get launched over the wall. It's like a railing kinda. They're just small walls that really only go up to your legs, and you can still get. It's harder to fall out. You literally can't. You can't just walk out, because in this game you can literally just walk out of the ring. Like if I just keep backdashing, I'll just fall out of the ring here. But on a half wall, it goes up to your waist, so you kind of have to like. You have to get launched over the wall for the most part. And then there's full walls where you can't fall out of the stage and it's just a giant wall. And there's some stages, like there's a stage in this game where one round there's a cage around the ring, so you can't fall out. And then the next round there's no cage and it keeps switching every round. So, and like I said, there's specific wall stuns in this game where if you get hit against the wall, your character will get into a full stun animation. You know, I guess kind of like Drive Impact in Street Fighter 6. It's the original Drive Impact. But as you can see, you kind of approach it differently because it's not on every stage. And like I said, some stages have walls that change throughout the stage. And some stages only have walls on one side, and then on the other side, you can just fall out. And not every stage is a perfect square, I should mention. Some stages are like rectangles. You know, it's interesting with the stages, and that's just stages, you know. But yeah, I do want to say this game is like, you know, $20, $10 on sale. It has terrible delay-based netcode. However, if you get a good connection, it's amazing because they used a new type of netcode for this game. It's not just delay-based, it's delay-based on a server. It's hard to explain, but you will get less delay overall on this game, but it's still delay-based. And this game, like I said, this is a game that came out from the mid-2000s. I believe I said that already. And that means the inputs are incredibly strict and very hard. This game has very, very hard inputs. And that does not help when there's delay. I will say that. But like I said, this game has less delay than most delay-based games. But it's still there. So overall, it's a fun game. I'm gonna actually start learning it because I never really learned it. And yeah, expect more on this channel, and I recommend everyone buys it because it's cheap. It's $20 normally, and it's like $10 on sale. And it's a fun game that deserves to have a sequel because, you know, this game is the original Tekken, and this game is what made Tekken become better. And it kind of vanished. So, yeah. You know, like, subscribe. I'm gonna have more. It's just a little introduction to people who haven't played the game, and you know, I'm gonna begin playing it. So yeah, subscribe for more.